Kahaloyim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who rule well over the flock. Shalom and salutation to you brothers out here, preaching words of truth and sincerity. Shalom to all our Akim and Aqua paying attention, scattered Israelites, we the 12 tribes of Israel. And through the spirit, I just want to make this video concerning how the times is changing and things are going to be a lot more rapid than they used to. We're in a time in which there's going to be a shift in, let's say, understanding of a lot of people in the younger generation, right? The youth, all right? The scriptures talk about the youth coming back and returning quicker than the old can. The scriptures talk about the poor understanding quicker than the rich can. And how it's high time to wake up out of sleep. So a lot of youth is going to be in a predicament in which they're going to need answers. And the older generation, really, their mindset and their mind frame, they don't have it. They don't have the answers. And they're not willing to necessarily accept that they don't have the answers. It probably is a real embarrassing, if for lack of a better word, it's an embarrassing moment in time when you're an older person and you don't have answers for the next generation. You don't know what's going on. You can't make sense of it. For instance, when the C19 came out. All right, damn, I got a whole beat in this fucking car. Let's say it. Goddamn beef flew in here, man. I let him out though. Yeah, man. Let me take this thing off real quick. All right, so as I was saying, there's going to come a time in which a large part of the generation, this young generation, is going to seek for answers. So through the spirit, you know, I remember the apostles of Great Millstone telling us for years ago that don't be surprised if one day you come to the camp and it might be 20 people just standing there waiting, searching for answers. Those 20 people might come back the next week 100 deep. Don't marvel at it if one day you see over 500 new accounts open up, you know, of brothers all over, scattered all over America. The time is short, and Esau can't keep pretending like he has this long time to rule, because he doesn't, and the elites know that. That's why Space Force has its logo, which is the Baphomet upside down. That's why all these things are happening with Russia in NATO, dealing with NATO and Russia versus Russia. These are the signs of the end, man. The pestilences and the earthquakes is going crazy. According to Matthew 24, all of these signs is evoking a spirit in Jake, like, well, what's going on, man? You know, and it's the younger generation. Now, the older generation, they're really a large part of Israel that's here are the same ones that were mocking and murmuring in the wilderness. And you learn about the wilderness, that was Jake that just couldn't receive the patience that was necessary to appease the Most High. And so instead, when you take that patience out of the equation, Jake becomes murmurers. Jake becomes scoffers of things which are good and holy. The scriptures say they speak evil concerning dignitaries and about dignitaries, about men of the Lord. They speak evil, and that's really because they are not knowing the truth. And ultimately, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with the signs of the end times. And so, even though they're vivid to you, the scriptures say many have tried to see what you see, and they cannot. And so, there's a very few precious elect, a remnant who the Lord is dealing with, is going to be capable of seeing through the madness and through the blur, because scriptures tell you gross darkness shall cover the whole earth. So it should be a perfect understanding that the majority of people, old or young, they just not going to click with wisdom. All right, but when you return back to this truth, you understand that this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Bible is so precious that Isaiah told you it'll be the stability of our times. Meaning, without it, you will be an unstable person. And we understand that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When you don't have a sure foundation, you're unstable. When you don't understand how your power works in times of trouble, and you're not certain that you can rely upon your power in every situation, you're in trouble. You're unstable. And once again, it'll be the older generation that eventually will have to come to terms and admit that when it came to this word being pushed out and promoted, and the truth being promoted, is going through the younger generation. Now, key point here is the very few who are older men that understand this happen to be the apostles and our elders. We have the utmost respect for them, as you should. We understand that the rest of the people who are older men, elderly, their wisdom might have got them through their lifetime. It might be good enough to get them through their lifetime. They got the materialistic things to prove that they're wise according to the world. But we coming into a time in which your wisdom according to the world will not help you anymore. And so you'll have to embrace a whole new mind frame, which is the understanding of the scriptures. With all I get understanding. Seek ye the old paths. Once again, the Lord shows throughout many times that he deals with a small remnant over a multitude. And so going back to my first point, don't be surprised when you have one day you might come out the camp and there's 25 men just standing there. Or you men that are new and young now, don't be surprised if your camp leaders end up giving you a camp with 4 or 5 men who just came in three less than a month ago. And your order is now to lead that camp, lead those men. So don't consider now, when you have this truth, the scripture says, seek him 10 times more. Consider now the time where you have a grace period. You're still new, but that won't last forever. Very soon you're going to be in a position, Lord willing, where you lead men up until the point where we out of here. But things are speeding up. You're not going to have years and years of post holding. You're not going to have all this time. Things are speeding up. The necessity of laborers is growing, and the young men are hearing that call. They're hearing that cry. There's a point in which the truth is going to grow so much. See, even a nuclear bomb starts at the molecular level. Nucleuses and atom splitting, and a molecular level, smaller than your eye can see. But it quickly expands so much that in an instant, it goes from a molecular level, combust, into something you could see from outer space. And so that's the reality of how this truth is going to continue to explode like a missile, like a detonation, where minds start to link based on the scriptures, based on the fact that you got so many different men from so many walks of life, all on the same frequency tuned in, and so that the next generation has no choice but to hear. Now they have a cousin, now they have a relative, now they have a favorite rapper, now they have an entertainer. Whereas you might have went, if you're in your 30s and 40s, you might have went all the way up into your 30s before you heard about the word of the Lord. Mid-20s. Now you have teenagers who understand the names of the Lord and the breakdowns in the Hebrew. And so this was started out on a molecular level, going back to the late 60s, with Elder Abba Bivens, and then slowly grew mainly in New York, Harlem, 125th Street, 1 West, and now has surpassed that group, all right, that epicenter, and now it's gone global. And it's normal to see a camp set up in a whole nother country, in a whole nother language, teaching Howbeit Shem Yahushua in his word. So once again, this is encouragement for all the younger brothers. Stay sharp, stay ready, and walk in the spirit, so that when these times come and men are coming to you and it's time to lead, that you can still lead. And you can lead men, obviously, into the kingdom of heaven and receive that reward and that crown that comes along with it. Lord willing, this video is edifying. Till next time, shalom.